Hey, good morning, everyone. Yeah, I got an epiphany. I haven't really found a lot of video content as far as what would inspire this. However, there's a lot of video content that can give good information on the difference in the personality changes of someone who is victimized by narcissistic abuse. And I sat there thinking, I was like, there isn't any, I don't think there is. I think they cover like one aspect of it at a time because the video gets really long. So I'm going to try to go through it. Now, on the psychological aspect of things, everybody's got that, they're familiar with the stages of grief type of thing, denial, acceptance, things of that nature. Now, narcissistic abuse is a very different um has different effects on different people. There's a lot of people out there who have endured this type of psychological and emotional trauma, being trapped in a relationship that extends decades, and they didn't even realize that it was abuse. They were basically like bred from birth to accept this type of horrifying behavior, or they were stuck in a situation where, like, trad wife type of, and they had no money to get out of the situation. However, yeah, but the detachment styles of any kind of relationship dynamic, whether it be male or female, is the same. Now, you could be in a relationship where you're being abused and you ride it out, and you eventually you get the tools and you start to shut down, you start to detach, and when you finally unlove and resent this individual so badly that leaving is a piece of fucking cake. There's some people who are blessed with that opportunity. And there's other people like me who, you know, fled, who had not gone through the weaning process, had not gotten to the point of hatred and full on resentment, who was still trauma bonded and being played. And I full well knew he was fucking around, kind of. And you can't let go. And you're like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And considering there's some people out there like me who discarded other people who had pursued a relationship, or showed interest or whatever, and it just took this teeny bit to be like, nope, red flag, peace, be out, gone, don't block phone number, I no, that is a foreshadowing of a fucking disaster, and I ain't even gonna entertain it any further. That kind of thing. And here I get involved with this man that I knew for several years prior to actually being involved with him, and knew him on a coworker kind of level. Got that lock. Man, I got to do something with that today. It's totally like, it's like a fucking antenna. Anyway, tape it down. Anyway, and he turns out to be a fucking monster behind closed doors. And there's the third party dynamic of the kid was being, spoken to in such an irrational, ugly fashion that I couldn't just sit there and walk away knowing that the guy was a douche. And he, and hopeful, here I was already manipulated and groomed. And so leaving that relationship, I went through a lot of different phases. First, tolerating the relationship on a generic level was requiring a lot of liquor. There's that. And then exiting the relationship just to pacify a lot of the pain required a lot of liquor. So there's that. But there's a lot of women out there who leave these relationships and they're completely, like, basically, remember when you're a little kid and you're like spinning around in a circle to make yourself dizzy? The initial escape or the initial discard feels like that. And then after you do it so many times, it's basically you're ready for a nap because your brain is exhausted. That's stage 1. Stage 2 is it really that slippery outside? Sorry. Oh, okay. That's a dude. He's checking out his mama across the street. Great people. Anyway, so stage 1 is like you dizzy. And you try to get up. And you feel like you sit back down. But your nervous system is going all over the place. So you sit there and you spin again. And you get dizzy and you fall down. Well, after you do that so many times, you just want a nap. That's stage 1 and stage 2. Now you're going into stage 2. Now you're just going to sleep. Because every time you get up, you feel like you're spinning in a circle. And your brain is rattling inside your head. And then you lay back down. You cannot focus on anything outside of a daily function. So you become functionally disabled. And let me explain what that means. You've got eating and working, paying your bills. That's it. You become functionally disabled. You'll do laundry when it piles up and becomes overwhelming. You'll do dishes when all the dishes are dirty in the sink. You'll shower when you can't stand yourself. You'll clean, deep clean, when you get this like weird burst of fucking energy and it comes out of nowhere. But then it goes away really, really fast. There's stage 3. So you are functional, keeping yourself alive in that like survival fucking mode kind of thing. But at the same time, you're dealing with that psychological pain that the individual who had abused you easy there, killer. Thank God I don't have screens on the outside of these windows. My screens are on the inside because they're casements. Crazy. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, winter. Yeah, we're snowed in. So, yeah, you got to listen to me gab. So, 9 minutes in. So, what stage are we on? We're on stage 3 where you're basically just functional. Right? And there's no timeline on any of this. Everybody heals at their own pace. So you're functional, and then you start to research. Now, you're probably researching a lot of information regarding the actual condition of narcissistic abuse, and a lot of the content creators that are out there, they give great examples of what to actually look for, and you can apply it to whatever experiences that you yourself had dealt with. But what they don't really go into depth on how you as an individual, based upon your personal situation with this type of abuse and trauma and betrayal, they don't go into detail on how to fix yourself. That's the hardest part. How to fix yourself after. And you'll go through stages, and the stages of grief do not align with what is typical of someone who has passed away. You got there's no, like, someone passes away, there is no denial. Yeah, they're passed away. That's a given. They ain't coming back. When you're dealing with a narcissist and that whole weird dynamic, you've got that weird underlying fear. Is this fucker out for revenge? Are they gonna stalk me? Are they gonna are they gonna, try to burn my fucking house down while I'm sleeping? Are they gonna follow me to work? Are they gonna wreak havoc on my life? You're in a constant state of fear. And that is a very hard dynamic to grasp day in, day out. And it's exhausting. It's psychologically and emotionally fucking exhausting. It's the same fear, but a different dynamic. It's like you're in the relationship and you're afraid of the fucker coming home because you don't know what kind of mood he's going to be in. And you're like literally walking on glass wondering, is this fucker in a good mood today? Or is it going to be an instant friggin', devalue-a-thon? I didn't do this right, or I didn't do that right, or he had a bad day at work, so he's going to take it out on you, kind of thing. That kind of thing. Or are you going to get, slingshot, you're on edge. Oh my God, he's in a fucking mood. And all of a sudden he's in a great mood. And you're like, thank you, Jesus. But then it turns into the other way around. After he's got you like roller coastered. You just did the fucking, euphoria loop. Now you're in that fuck sake, what did I do? Right? The turmoil. I look back on it now and I'm like, why the? It was like, they get you in a state where you don't even think rationally and you can't make a sound decision. And the decisions that you have, you're literally, it's like this. Have you ever been watching a movie and they put those clip montages where it's like you go through the fucking time warp, where it's like picture, 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 and they got that whoop kind of fucking sound effect in the background. I've had that the night that I escaped him, which it was instantaneous. And while I was running, the pictures are still flashing, right? It was an instant flight response. And I lived in that fear and flight response for incrementally, like 4 months at a time. I would start to feel good and get the whole house clean, get all the laundry caught up, organize the closet, get myself clean, do my makeup. The only thing that I had that I could keep in a fucking functional state was self-care. Every day, brush teeth, wash face, do makeup. That was it. Everything else, clutter is still going to be there when I get home. Grocery shop. Now, grocery shopping after you are single and being like the supporting factor of the menu fucking throws you all over the place. I was literally, how much do I buy? I was over shopping Yeah, it was, I was throwing away so much produce. You have no idea. Um, but it's like you're living in a rat wheel and anxiety. And then you'll get this burst of contentment. It's like, comes out of nowhere. Means your brain's waking up. But then something will trigger you. And it pulls you right back into that place. This is where that EDMR kind of stuff kind of comes into, therapy kind of helps. But it's not an instant fix. It takes months, if not years. I read somewhere, and I can't remember where I got it from, who it was that said it, but basically they say that it doesn't matter how long you were really with an individual that put you through this type of emotional abuse, but it takes upwards of 26 months of no contact to detach your emotions and fix basically your soul back to where you were before you ever got involved with that individual, and to find yourself again. I'm only on month 15. I got 16. I got 10 more months to go before I will probably be rationally ready to even think about going on a date of any caliber. Coffee, breakfast, anything. There does come a time where you become comfortable and you start to get your energy back in a little bit more frequency. So you start to feel a little bit more social, because during those first 4 stages, you also self-isolate. Now, a lot of people come out of that and they're in stage 3 thinking, am I the narcissist? Am I the one with the problem? If you're asking yourself that, and you're looking at all this information and you're comparing the situations, now, the examples that the DSM-5 gives, there's an element in there, right? So you will, and then there's examples of toxic relationship. Well, it's the way that the narcissist approaches the victim. In a way, your response comes across as toxic, as someone who would be the narcissist. That is the reactive abuse dynamic. See, if they hadn't done this to you, you wouldn't have come up with these concepts in your head and responded in that way. Which kind of flips the script, and you look at all these examples that are in that blue book there, and you're like, oh my God, it's me. No, it ain't you. That ain't you. If you're questioning it, you say there was one time I was like, you're fucking narcissistic, dude. No, you're not. Yeah. And then he did something. I said, that right there. He stiffened. I could have shot that comment at him probably 7-8 times a day. But this was toward the end of the relationship, where he was sitting there. I think he was getting his self-realization, like, I'm a fucking asshole. And I sat there questioning, why the fuck do you even want me here? I got no kid to take care of. So why the fuck am I here? That was basically the motivating factor for sticking around anyway, because he was a single father and he was struggling. So, I kind of felt sorry for him, my people pleaser. There are certain elements of the personality for which kind of motivated me into that kind of relationship. But one day, you will wake up and you will realize, after you have left this individual, things will come back into normalcy. But the memories still remain. And it is a matter of being able to accept how things went and find yourself within all of the emotional, psychological, and, sociological clutter. Some of the strongest people I know, emotionally and psychologically, are those that have endured this type of crap and have either come out with all of their assets, having been smart enough to, like, something ain't right, while they're in it, and escaped. Or those who have left with absolutely nothing and rebuilt themselves from the ground up. And the awareness of society is, they're becoming a little bit more aware, because there's thousands of content creators talking about this subject, which that's the enigmatic, question, the conundrum within society is, how did this become so fucking prevalent? It's everywhere you turn. I mean, a coworker, for that matter, literally left the job because he had to leave her for the same concepts. She hit the fan, couldn't take it anymore, poof. Now, mine's a little different. The guy I was involved with still fucking works here with me in a different plant. But my management, when I expressed everything, like, for example, this little peckerhead, why am I not getting top pay? I'm just as good as it. Your fucking work ethic, you piece of shit. Did I say that to him? No. I just kept my mouth shut. Let him talk his crap. Whatever. Well, they gave him top pay, but then they cut his hours. He was making more at less pay with the overtime than he made with the top pay. It's like, yeah, poke that fucking bear. Go ahead. Don't look at the double-edged sword that your mouth and your, delusional concept of yourself is, like, putting you in. This piece of garbage is lucky he still has a fucking job. I should have let him fail. But at the end of it, they understood my perspective on things. I told them the whole story. And they were like, aha. So they gave him another chance. Why? The point is, I had to endure this recovery from this piece of shit, knowing that he was somewhere in vicinity. And if we showed up on the same job, I had to see him. Didn't want to talk to him. Still have him blocked. Blocked emails, blocked phone. Blocked as many people with his name on Facebook as I could find. Blocked the family. Block, 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 block. Block it all as best I can. His crazy ass, fucking twisted mother made a new Facebook page. And the crazy ass, delusional new supply is friends with her. And you know what? I didn't bother blocking either one of them. Because now all I do, in my old page, I don't post anything. My new page, oh, it's just narcissistic abuse, memes, political. It's like in your face. Learn something. Me and the baby mama talk on occasion. She keeps me updated on things with the kid. Recovery is a long process, and eventually you'll get to a point where you can accept that this individual was abusive, and you will find the resentment and the hatred enough to know that you are strong enough, should this individual try to hoover you back or try to persuade you to talk to them, that you'll have the balls to be like, no, go fuck yourself. Like, for example, trolling the new supply lets me know that she's out of town right now. One of his supplies. Now, God, he's probably got another one he's messing with while she's gone. But it's one of those things where I'm sitting there thinking, yep, it's snow. So his truck can't do snow. He ain't got 4-wheel drive. Yeah, so I know I'm safe there. So he's not going to try to contact me. He's probably got somebody local. But she's too stupid to know that this guy's a piece of shit. You see, this supply that he got involved with was basically, they broke up at one point. Me and baby mama were talking. It's like, oh, she changed her relationship status. Yeah, I called it. I was like, her picture changed. It looks dark, dude. She was like, really? I was like, TikTok, any day, anytime now. Shit, by 4 o'clock that afternoon, she was messaging me. Earlier today, it said she was in a relationship. Now it says she's single. And the single was up for about, 48 hours. And then before you know, it was a couple months later, there he was, back in her life. I was like, see, I knew it. I was like, he gonna hoover her back. Just wait. She's like, I hope not. I was like, no, it'll happen. The narcissistic voodoo. Well, during that break, she was like, women aren't cold, they just know how they should be treated. Well, yeah, that tells me that he was fucking off. Probably got drunk, devalued her, acted a fool, screamed at her, something. Yeah, because that's what he does. I wonder how many times that happened before she finally said, get the fuck out. But then she got desperate and let him back in because he's got voodoo. You'll eventually get to a point where you're strong enough to say, get the fuck out and stay fuck out. I think what inspired me was I saw this thing because I had fled from downtown Nashville, Broadway. And there's something that came across, Bad Brad or something like that. He talks about a lot of the nefarious shit that goes on in Nashville. People getting their drinks roofied and crap like that. And it just kind of like put me in a flashback state of remembering the night that I ran. Because he tried to steal my life from me. I think him and his brother conspired to try to do this. I think he drugged me because I got drunk too quick on very little. I was still awake. He was probably expecting me to pass out before then. And I was like, I just want to go home. He took off running. It was Coyote Roadrunner technique. Yeah, I'm the Roadrunner. I bought a t-shirt. It says Roadrunner beep beep. Anyway, yeah, it didn't work. He had all of my stuff, my keys, everything I owned, locked in his pickup truck in the parking garage that I paid for. I paid for the parking. Yeah, took off running with the keys to the truck in his pocket that had all of my shit locked in it. Time warp montage, brrr, all this stuff. Me getting stuck on the street. Him taking off in the truck with all my shit. Me being abandoned. Not having keys to get in my own fucking house. Not having keys to my motorcycle that was in his driveway. Not having keys in my pickup truck. Yeah. Knowing my house is locked up like a fortress. Not being able to get in. The address of my house not matching my driver's license. Because I have inheritance rights to the house where it was on my driver's license. That's the only reason I don't change it. When that property is no longer in our name, I will change it. Anyway, so yeah, the recovery process is long. Eventually you come to a point where, you know, you can accept the loss, you can accept the but your motivation is slow to come back. And it does come back eventually. But it's a lot of work, a lot of psychological work. So with that being said, I know this is a really long one, but it just kind of inspired me to, you know, talk about it. Yeah, the stages, they don't really go through them in depth. That's my version of it. So before this thing kicks me off and tries to record another video underlying it, peace out. Stay warm.